Hello students, I am Sanjana Kavatagi, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, AITM, Belgavi. Let us continue with the video lectures on computer organization. We shall continue with the module number 1, that is basic structure of computers. In this video, we shall understand various addressing modes. Now let us understand generating memory addresses. So there are some questions that arises like how to specify the address of a branch target, and can we give the memory operand address directly in a single add instruction in the loop, or use a register to hold the address of num1 location and then increment it by 4 on each pass through the loop. Can we do these things? So these are the questions that comes to our mind whenever we are writing a code in the assembly level language. Okay, so such situations and many others like it gives rise to the need of flexible ways to specify the address of an operand. The instruction set of a computer typically provides a number of such methods, and these methods are called as addressing modes. Okay, while the details differ from one computer to another, the underlying concepts will be the same. So we shall discuss these addressing modes in this video lecture. A program operates on the data which is stored in the computer's memory. These data can be organized in a variety of ways. If I want to keep track of student's name, what I can do, I can store it as a list in the form of a list. And suppose if I want to associate some information with each of these names, like his scores of various subjects or his personal phone number, email ID, address, etc., what I can do, I can store it into a table, or in the form of a table I can organize this data. So programmers use such organizations called as data structures to represent the data that is used in their computations. These data structures may be lists, linked list, arrays, queues, stacks, and so on. Okay, so programs which are normally written in high level language enables the programmers to use constants, local variables, global variables, pointers, and arrays. Okay, so when translating a high level language program into assembly level language, the compiler should be able to implement these constructs using the facilities provided in the instruction set of the computer in which programs will be running. Okay, so the different ways in which the location of an operand is specified in an instruction is referred to as addressing mode. So what is addressing mode? It is nothing but a way in which you are mentioning the location of the operand that is used in your program or that is used in your instruction. So that is called as addressing mode. Okay, so we will be studying different addressing modes in this video. Okay. Now let us understand implementation of variables and constants. Variables and constants are the simplest of the data types and are found in almost every computer program. So in assembly level language, a variable is represented by allocating a register or a memory location to hold its value. That is, in assembly level language, we will be using either a register or a memory location to hold its value. Thus, the value can be changed as needed using an appropriate instructions. Okay, the programs in the previous sections we have seen used only two addressing modes to access all the variables. Okay, so the operand was accessed by specifying the either name of the register or the address of the memory location where the operand is stored or the operand is located. Okay, so these two methods we can define it precisely as register mode or absolute mode. That is register addressing mode or absolute addressing mode. Okay, first one is register addressing mode. In this, the operand is the content of a processor register and the name, that is the address, okay, of the register is given in the instruction. Okay, so if I say that I am using the register mode, the operand will be the content of the processor register and the name of that register will be used in the instruction. Okay, Next one is the absolute, or it can also be called as direct mode. Okay, so in this case the operand is in memory location and the address of this memory location will be given explicitly in the instruction. Okay, so in some of the assembly level languages it is called as direct addressing mode. Okay, means what? The operand will be stored in the memory location and the address of this memory location will be directly given in the instruction. For example, you can see move lock comma r2. Okay, if this instruction is using both the modes. Okay, processor register are used as temporary storage locations where the data in a register are accessed using the register mode. Okay, the absolute mode can represent the global variables in the program. Okay, okay, that is integer a comma b. In a high level programming languages, this program will cause the compiler to allocate a memory location to each of the variables, that is a variable a and variable b. So whenever they are referenced later in the program, the compiler can generate language instruction that use the absolute mode to access these variables. Okay, next, let us consider the representation of constants, that is the address and data constants that can be represented in assembly level language using the immediate mode. The previous two methods we were talking about variables, the representation of variables. In this addressing mode we will talk about representation of the constant values. Either it may be a address or it may be the data. Okay, so that is called as immediate addressing mode. Here the operand is given explicitly in the instruction. That is, for example, you can see the instruction move 200 subscript is immediate comma r naught. So this places value 200 in register r naught. Okay, clearly the immediate mode is used only to specify the value of the source operand. Using the subscript to denote the immediate mode is not appropriate in assembly level languages. So for that, a common convention is to use the sharp signs, that is hash sign. Okay, that is called a sharp sign. So in front of the value to indicate that this value is to be used as an immediate operand. Okay, so hence we shall write the instruction in the form like move hash 200 comma r naught. Okay, the next addressing mode is indirection and pointers. So sometimes the instruction does not give the operand or its address explicitly. Instead, it provides the information from which the memory address of the operand can be determined. So such types of addresses we call as effective address. Okay, that is EA, effective address of the operand. It does not provide the address directly, but it gives some information from which I can take the address of the operand. Okay, so this method is called indirect mode. That is, the effective address of the operand is the contents of a register or memory location whose address appears in the instruction. Now I want to find the effective address of the operand. This is nothing but the contents of a register or a memory location which is going to be appeared in the instruction. That is, either it is register indirect addressing mode or indirect addressing mode. In register indirect addressing mode, what happens? One of the register in the instruction holds the address of the operand. That is, EA is effective address, that is nothing but the content of the register. These square brackets represent the contents. Okay, square brackets always represents the content. Okay, so whatever is written within the square bracket, so that meaning is nothing but the content of that particular memory location or register. Okay, next is indirect addressing mode. That is, the effective address of the operand is the memory location whose address appears in the location. So either it can be represented using register or using the memory location. If it is memory location, effective address will be the content of the memory location. So we denote the indirection by placing the name of the register or the memory address given in the instruction in the parenthesis. Okay, you can see in the figure that is 2.11a as well as 2.11b. Okay, so to execute the add instruction in the figure 2.11a, okay, the processor uses the value of b which is in register r1. Okay, so that is through the general purpose register as the effective address of the operand. It requests a read operation from the memory to read the contents of location b. The value read is the desired operand which the processor adds to the content of the register R0. Okay, so indirect addressing through memory location is also possible, that is through figure B. In this case, the processor first reads the contents of the memory location A and then requests a second read operation using the value B as an address to obtain the operand. Okay, so but first let us understand figure A. The instruction is add r1 comma r0. R1 is into the parenthesis, which means we should take the contents of that. Okay, so the operand b is stored in the memory. Okay, so that first bracket, square brackets, is representing the main memory. Okay, so next we have r1. In r1 the content b is stored. Okay, that is address of the operand b is found in r1 and b is nothing but the operand. Okay, so what happens is add the contents of r1 comma r0. What is r1? Go to r1. In r1 we have b. Okay, b is nothing but the location of the operand. Okay, so go to b. In that we find the operand. So that is how I am getting the value of the operand in this figure. Next, coming to figure B, that is through the memory location, the instruction is add into parenthesis a comma r0. So what I will do, I will go to a. It has directly given the address of the memory location. Okay, so go to a, go to that particular location, you find b. Okay, and go to b, you will find the operand. B is nothing but b is content of b is stored in the address location a, and what is b? B is nothing but the address location of the operand. Okay, so this is indirect, it is not directly giving me the operand value, it is just giving me some hint where I can find the address of the operand. Okay, if I go to that particular address, I will find the operand. So now basically what is indirect address? It is nothing but it is going to indicate the memory location that holds the address of the memory location that is containing the data. You can see in this figure it is a block of memory. Okay, we have the addresses of each location written here, and the given instruction is like AR some value of the memory location is given, that is considered 101. Okay, I will go to location 101. What I will find? I will find some other address, that is 0104, which is nothing but 104. Okay, so I'm going to location 101 and I'm finding another address 104. So I will go to 104. In that I have found some value. This value is nothing but the address. So it gives the address of some memory location that is containing the address of the operand. Okay, so this is about indirection and pointers. So in the next video we shall continue with another types of addressing modes. We shall continue in the next video with the remaining types of addressing modes. Keep watching. Thank you.